I think I solved my procrastination issue. And I learned some things about myself today, and I'm just going to tell y'all about it. So, I've been working on this little business move, this little business play. I partnered with the dude I work for, David Shands. We working on some business, and today he was like, "Yo, you been kind of like dragging your feet, like, you know what I'm saying? What you trying to do?" And after I was really thinking, like, why have I been being slow about this? And I started to notice a pattern. I started to notice a pattern where opportunity arises for me to do something dope, and for some reason I start slowing around. And so what I realized is I may have a slight fear of success, and not even a fear of success, but I've realized that I think subconsciously I have such an attachment to my potential that when it comes time to actually try to pull something off, I'd rather not even do it, because then I got to deal with the reality of whether it worked or not. And whatever I thought my potential is now goes out the window, and I have to deal with reality. So now I have a new goal. My goal is to just have a bias towards action. Move as quickly as humanly possible on everything. Because in holding on to this thought of my potential, rather than actually trying to build something in reality, my potential is still useless. I have this thought that runs through my mind all the time, that one of my mentors told me is everything is leading to something. And so I thought about, okay, what is this going to lead to? Is this going to lead to me being 70 years old talking about, yo, back in my day, yo, I could have done this, that, and I should have done this, that, and the third. And I don't want to be a coulda, shoulda, woulda type of nigga at the end of the day. I don't want to be that type of person that's like, I could have done this, I should have done this. I want to be the person who executes. I want to be the person that doesn't have to talk about it because you see it in real life. So over the next however many months, years, whatever, especially through the end of this year, I'm going to have a bias towards action. I'm going to move as quick as humanly possible. I'm going to try to get as much done as possible. Now, it's a few things that I believe I've already accomplished that's going to, or I've already put into place, a few systems I've put into place that I think is going to help me. But I'm also going to tell y'all about what I'm going to do moving forward to make this happen. The first thing is just like, I have been optimizing my life for obsession. I've been optimizing my life to only focus on content. From the moment I leave my house, pretty much till the moment I go to sleep, the only thing I have to think about is content. I have a 9 to 5, and that 9 to 5 is I work for a podcaster and YouTuber named David Shands. And he got the Social Proof podcast and the Hot Seat podcast, and that's what I do. I create content for him. I produce content for him. I'm only thinking about content even in my 9 to 5. As soon as that ends, which is really 8 a.m. to 4 p.m., I go into my 5 to 9 mode, which is, the 2 offers that I'm focusing on for the business right now, which one of them is Done For You podcasting services. You pull up one day out of the month, record your 4 episodes, and you got a podcaster every week. We handle the editing, the shooting, the clips, putting it on all platforms, Spotify, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, whatever. The second offer is Talking Head videos. We get on a call, you tell me what type of videos you want to make. I make a list of the videos and the ideas. I bring you some ideas, and then I script all of those videos. Same thing, you pull up for one day, we shoot all of it, we edit all of it, we don't post it. But those are the 2 offers I'm focused on. And I can think about, how do I make content more efficiently? How do I build a team? How do I make better systems? How do I create a better customer experience? All I think about all day is content. I have a singular focus. The reason I think singular focus is important, especially as somebody who I consider myself to be a jack of all trades, even with this business that we're rolling out, I just sent out the first email, and I went into Photoshop, designed the email myself. You know what I'm saying? I do pretty much everything from graphic design to audio engineering to videos to like I have a bunch of random skills and random things that I've done over the years. I did hotel renovations, went to school to be an electrician. I own my own recording studio and consignment store. I've made clothing. I've done a whole bunch of different things, but I remember one of my mentors told me, yo, every time I see you, you're doing something dope, but you're doing something different. And when you're always doing something different, I don't know what to call you for. He said, if you get focused, people will know what to call you for, and you'll start to see some more success. Immediately after he told me that next year I made $100,000, or more than $100,000. So focus puts you in a position where whoever your competition is, even if you're not directly competing with anybody, I'm not directly competing with anybody, but who's gonna do better? The one person who goes to work and they work at Amazon in the warehouse all day, and then when they leave the warehouse, then they can start thinking about content and they do the video stuff on the side, or the person who gets up and their 9 to 5 is video content, and then their business and side hustle and whatever else is content, and their aspirations for the future is like all I think about is content. My mornings I've set aside to where prayer, reflection, all of that happens in the morning. Obviously getting ready for the day, planning my day, writing down what are my important tasks to knock out for the day. 2 or 3 important tasks that if the day ended and these 2 or 3 things were done, it was a great productive day, right? I separate that from my 9 to 5 and everything that I do after that. So once I leave the house, it's literally just content mode. On Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday, I'm in the gym for 2 hours. But even during those 2 hours, I go to the gym with Kay, my co-host on the Creators Clubhouse podcast. We're still talking about business. We're still talking about content. You know, we're still in that same mode, but we can't neglect our physical temples. So we gotta get in the gym, work on our health. Outside of that, it's literally just figuring this content thing out. So I think that's the most important thing. Next is what I just kind of mentioned, is this idea of creating a couple of tasks that you have to get done, and if you got done today, it's going to be a great day. I think about the concept of, I think it was Steve Jobs who talked about signal versus noise, right? And I think Elon Musk practices a similar philosophy. It's this idea that your signal is all the things that are important, and the noise is just all the extra stuff. How much can you filter out of the noise, the randomness? And I'm not just talking about like getting distracted on your phone and being on social media as noise and randomness, even though that is noise. I'm talking about like somebody's asking you to do something that technically is important-ish, right? You're supposed to be editing this YouTube video, but then something happens at the studio and now we got to make some Instagram content. That's noise a little bit. Because when you set your task, you figure out what you have to accomplish this day, those are things that can get in the way of that. And then next thing you know, it gets pushed off to the next day, and the next day, and the next day. All of these things start to compound, right? And you have to learn how to set boundaries. To tell yourself, I'm supposed to be getting this, and this done. I'm setting boundaries. Anything that's not that, anything that goes against that, anything that is pushing it back, I have to really sit here and think, is it going to be worth it? Sometimes you gotta tell people, I can't do that right now because I'm handling this. And that's an extremely important thing to do. When I was studying discipline a while back, one of the most important tools in trying to be disciplined is thinking ahead and planning ahead on what are you going to do to get yourself out of certain situations. I'll give you a perfect example. Let's say I'm trying not to spend money. And I know that when my friends ask me to go out and hang out, that's when I spend money. Instead of waiting till that situation arises, they ask me, let's go bowling or whatever. and maybe folding on the spot, trying to think of something on the spot, I think of those situations beforehand. Okay, if I'm trying not to spend money, if somebody asks me to go out, I'm gonna let them know, nah, it's not in my budget right now. I'm on a tight budget, whatever. I plan it ahead of time so that I don't fold under pressure, or I don't just make a poor decision in the moment. Think about all the things that will lead you to making a poor decision in your life, with all the stuff that you want to do, all the things that'll get you distracted if you're trying to eat better. If you know that free lunch at work, the free pizza that they're gonna bring at work is gonna throw you off your game, make a plan ahead of time. If they bring some free pizza in here, I'm not eating it. I got my lunch in the fridge, I'm gonna pull that joint out, whatever it gotta be. Thinking about all of the things that are pitfalls or obstacles or traps in your journey. Think about it ahead of time and think about how to eliminate them. Next, I know that my mind, I don't have the type of mind where I can just keep everything up here. I'm gonna forget details of things. So one thing that I do is I write everything down. I have a few different Notion templates, which Notion is just an organization software. I have a few different templates in there. One of them is called Second Brain, where I put absolutely everything in there, from workouts to the nutrition stuff to my day-to-day tasks to content ideas, whatever you could think of. It's literally my second brain, so that when I'm focused on an activity, all I have to do is think about that activity. I don't have to think about everything else I have to do today in the back of my mind, because I know whenever I need to acknowledge the list of things I need to do, I just look at the list and it's all laid out for me. If you want a free copy of my Second Brain Notion template, comment down below, I need the Notion template, I need Second Brain, and I'll get that to you. But I just know that if I can offload my mental strength, so I can only focus on the task at hand, if I know that I don't have to remember what do I have to do later, and I'll just put it all on Notion, it makes it so much easier. Even with, like I'm telling you, even with the way that I eat, I've been eating Chipotle twice a day for weeks because it makes it easy. I don't have to think. I literally don't have to think. Every single day, I'm going to Chipotle getting the exact same thing. It fits my macros of what I'm trying to do in the gym and all that. My Chipotle bowl, I'm gonna tell you exactly what my bowl is. I get salad, no rice, pinto beans, extra pinto beans, double chicken, side of queso, medium salsa, corn, and that's my little Chipotle order. I get that twice a day, and that's about 1,500 calories. I know that works for my fitness goals, and I don't have to think. I don't want to have to think about pretty much anything. Every single day, I wear a different variation of this Social Proof merch. The merch for the podcast that I work for. Every single day, I grab the next variation of t-shirt, whatever, black pair of pants, whatever pair of pants. I just don't think about those things. How can you optimize your life to where you're thinking about as little things as possible? Like, how do you offload all of your thought? And to be fair, this approach is not for everybody, but it's for me, because I want to be great. I want to accomplish something great. I have a lot that I'm trying to do, and I know in order to start to really get some real momentum on this stuff, I have to optimize my life for obsession. The next and final thing that I think is the most important is I'm tracking everything. I'm tracking the day I have an idea, how long it takes to execute, what progress I'm making, because it's so easy for life to pass you by. And that's the biggest issue that I have. Like, every day, it's just a day that passes by. You might wake up, you go to work, you get home, you might make food, whatever, and the day is pretty much over. It might be 8 p.m. by the time you get to think of something that didn't have to do with just your normal daily routine. By the time you get to think about your business or your content or your side hustle, whatever it is, most of your day might be gone by the time you get to think about that. And so for me, it's just like, how do I stay on top of that? The simplest way is to track it. I've learned that I don't do well with bouncing around I don't do the best with bouncing around with different types of tasks. Even though I'm good at like doing a whole bunch of everything and bouncing around, if the day ends for me at 4 p.m., the work day ends for me at 4 p.m., and then I say, okay, boom, I'm gonna work on this client thing, and then I'm gonna write scripts over here for my social media, and then I'm gonna do this, it just becomes more difficult for me, and I waste too much time in just transitioning from thing to thing. What works better for me, as I've learned and just in my experience, is having one afternoon or one day completely dedicated to my personal content. Boom, today I'm only focused on from 4 p.m. to 10 p.m. The next 6 hours, I will only focus on creating my own personal content. Then on Tuesday from 4 p.m. to 10 p.m., I'm only gonna focus on editing this video recap or editing these client photos. And then on Wednesday, and everything may not always add up to me being able to do that, but I know that if the opportunity presents itself, that's the way that I can get the most done. Start to learn yourself. Start to take notes. I tried this, it didn't work. I tried this, it did work. And then just do what worked. Double down on all the things that work. The moral of everything that I'm saying, right, with what I started with, I am in a position where I'm starting to understand that I've been holding on to my potential, and because I've been holding on to the idea of my potential, I haven't been executing on things in real life, because in order for me to try, because when I try, I'm going to have to look at the reality of what happens. Did it work? Did it not work? And now I can no longer hold on to this ideal potential idea that I had of myself, and I have to deal with the reality. But now I'm deciding that I'm choosing reality, because potential means nothing. I'm gonna take as much action as possible, as quickly as possible, and continue to prove to myself every single day that I am who I think I am. And that's pretty much the moral of what I got to say in this video. Let me know what any questions y'all have, anything y'all want to hear me talk about. I plan on trying to do these videos every single day, because I always have something to yap about, and it helps me to kind of stay focused in terms of just like thinking about the right things, right? Because I'm gonna need something to talk about. And yeah, I appreciate you for tuning in, bruh, because I'm not even really promoting this page. It's super low key. If it's helpful, let me know it's helpful in the comments. Otherwise, I'm gonna just see the 9 views and think somebody may have accidentally clicked on the video. So let me know if you actually care about these videos. And yeah, appreciate y'all for tuning in.